Today, we're exposing the truth about 7 premium golf brands that are robbing you blind. These are the names that used to earn the premium, and now just charge it out of habit. Some of them mark down its own flagship driver from 600 to 450 before the season's even over, while others actually got better. We count down to the worst offender, and it isn't close. Let's start where the decline is mildest. Number 10, Cobra. Hear me out before you scream, because Cobra isn't a villain exactly. It's a warning. For years, Cobra was the value king's value king, undercutting TaylorMade and Callaway by 75 to 150 bucks while matching them in independent testing. But the premium creep has started. The flagship drivers now flirt with the same 550 to 600 range as the giants they used to undercut, and the gap that made them worth choosing is narrowing every cycle. Cobra still makes genuinely good equipment. Nobody's arguing the clubs got worse. The problem is they're starting to price like the brands they were supposed to be the answer to, and the moment a value brand forgets it's a value brand, it stops being a reason to switch. Buy the model that's a year old and the value's still there. Buy the launch day flagship and you're paying the same tax you switched to Cobra to avoid. Number 9, Callaway, the content factory. Callaway doesn't release clubs anymore so much as it releases content. A paradigm, then an AI smoke, then the next thing teased before you figured out which one you supposedly needed. Each one promises an AI-designed face and revolutionary materials, and each one arrives wrapped in enough marketing to convince you last year's model is suddenly obsolete. Here's the honest version. Across a single year's field of drivers, my Golf Spy's 2026 robot testing, 42 drivers, more than 20,000 shots, found the longest and shortest separated by about 15 yards. That sounds like a lot until you realize the variable driving it is fitting, not what the box says. The right shaft and the right loft for your swing will do more than any logo on the sole. A 650 Callaway driver at launch is on clearance for $358 8 months later, and the club didn't get worse in those 8 months, not by a single yard. The attention just moved to the next shiny object. You're paying to be first, not to be better. Number 8, PXG. And here's where you need the real story. Because every other video tells it as straight pricing, it's actually a betrayal of a promise. PXG launched on one idea: direct to consumer, no retail middleman, tour performance at honest prices. That was the whole pitch, and at the time, it was genuinely refreshing. Today, the drivers run 5 to 700, the iron sets push toward $2,000, and the marketing budget is funded by a billionaire founder. The disruptor became the middleman it set out to kill. Same overseas factories as everyone else, same retail markup, just a better origin story stapled to the front. And on the secondary market, PXG clubs shed roughly half their value inside 2 years, which tells you what the market actually thinks the equipment is worth once the marketing wears off. You're not buying the revolution anymore. You're buying the founder's ad budget, one overpriced wedge at a time. Number 7, Titleist. Now, every other video on this topic will tell you Titleist is a scam, and that they sued Costco to crush the cheaper ball. They've got it backwards, and the real story is more interesting. After Titleist's parent company sent a threatening letter, it was Costco that sued first, asking a court to rule the Kirkland ball didn't infringe. Titleist's parent then countersued over 10 patents and false advertising. It settled out of court in 2018, terms never made public. What that tells you isn't that Titleist is evil. It's that they knew a sub $2 ball had gotten close enough to a $4 one to be worth dragging into federal court. For a scratch golfer chasing fractions of a stroke, Titleist genuinely earns the premium. The performance at the top of the game is real. But those advantages shrink dramatically as the handicap climbs. For the weekend player shooting 95, that premium buys a logo you fish out of the water hazard. Number 6, Honma, beautiful clubs. Genuinely. The craftsmanship is real, the finishing is exquisite, and the materials are premium. in a way you can feel at address. But Honma charges $3,000 to $5,000 for an iron set and $800 for a driver, and the performance simply does not justify that for anyone outside a single-digit handicap with money to burn. That's not premium. That's Tokyo luxury market positioning that translates badly to anyone who actually checks the math. For the cost of one Honma set, you could fit an entire bag of equipment that scores exactly the same. The clubs aren't the problem. The price is a flex, not a feature. Number 5, Ping. This one stings because Ping earned its reputation honestly. Buy it for life, the best custom fitting in the business. Clubs that hold value for a decade, for years. Choosing Ping was the closest thing to a guaranteed win in this game. The edge hasn't vanished, it's just dulled. The premium is creeping up faster than the genuine improvement, and competitors have closed the gap on the forgiveness and fitting that used to be Ping's alone. Still a great brand, still a great fitting experience, still clubs you can hand down. Just no longer the automatic value in disguise it once was. You have to shop it against the field now instead of buying on faith. Number 4, Scotty Cameron. The Quiet Robbery. A Newport 2 commands $450 to $500 for a putter milled from 303 stainless steel. Yes, the milling tolerances and finishing are real costs. Don't let anyone tell you it's purely a logo, because precision machining isn't free. But CNC milling is now available at every price point, and Cleveland, Odyssey, and Wilson produce equally precise putters for half the money. The counterfeit Scotty market thrives precisely because the markup is absurd enough to make fakes economically rational. When a copy is worth faking, the original is telling on itself. Scotty isn't selling you a better stroke. The ball doesn't know what's stamped on the back of the putter. He's selling you a head cover you're afraid to take off. Number 3, the entire annual release engine and TaylorMade built it. Every January, a new driver drops, promising the yards you've chased your whole life, complete with tour validation and robot test graphics designed to make last year's club feel ancient. Here's the receipt. The Key 35 launched at $599.99, and it's marked down to $449 on TaylorMade's own site. Same model, same cycle. The company is discounting its own flagship before the year is out. That's how confident they are you'll buy the next one anyway. The manufactured obsolescence machine is the product. The driver is just the delivery vehicle. You're not buying distance. You're buying this year's adjective. Number 2, Mizuno. This is the premium pick that's actually worth defending. So, hear the argument. The JPX Hot Metal set runs $900 to $1,000, real money, but roughly $400 less than comparable Titleist or Callaway sets. Every iron is grain flow, forged in Mizuno's own Hiroshima factory. That's genuine in-house forging, not outsourced assembly with a premium badge slapped on at the end. Resale tends to hold 60 to 70% after 2 years because the market knows what it's getting. Run the real math. 1 set that plays for a decade versus 3 sets you keep replacing to chase the next release. Stretch it across the years, you'll actually own them. And the expensive one is the rational buy. That's the difference between a price and a cost. Number 1, sub 70. Direct to consumer, done the way PXG promised and abandoned. Drivers around 300, forged iron sets 5 to 700, built in the same OEM factories that supply the big names. Same shaft brands, same materials, same assembly lines. The reason it's this cheap is structural. No tour contracts, no celebrity ambassadors, no annual hype cycle inflating the receipt, and they back it with a 60-day on-course guarantee. Play real rounds on real grass, send them back if you're not sold. That's confidence the marketing fantasy brands can't offer because they know what they're really selling. And it isn't the club. In golf, you're either funding a marketing fantasy or investing in genuine engineering. And that $600 driver from the Open, number 3 on this list, marked down before the leaves changed. Told you we'd get there. Choose substance over status. Drop your most overrated and most underrated brand below. I read everyone.